Rafik Tul Rafik Tal.
Hello everyone, Major Star Stuff here, Tanya in Yah for Kafinai. Today I'm going to give you my personal take on the Vanduul phrase from the Squadron 42 teaser that we got to see at CitizenCon 2953. Specifically, I want to share with you my attempt at reconstructing the potential pronunciation of the phrase in Vanduul, which sadly in the teaser is partly obstructed by orchestral background music. After the spectacular reappearance of the Vanduul for CitizenCon 2953 in the latest Squadron 42 teaser, a lot of speculation has been going on in regard to the phrase spoken by one of them at the end of the video. Thankfully, a fellow member of the UEE Xenolinguistics community, Jail, looked into the matter right away in a video here on YouTube, and they've even published a follow-up video bringing us the official translation by Britton Watkins, who is of course the creator of the languages for the Star Citizen universe. The official translation, as you may already know from Jail's video, is I rise, I take, I ascend. Now that we know what the phrase means, what if you ended up in a situation where you would like to use it yourself? Be it in-game or, say, to lighten up everyone's mood at a social gathering in real life. In order to find out how to actually speak those words in Vanduul, we will have to listen carefully again to the phrase as it's given in the Squadron 42 teaser. Let's start with a quick breakdown of the vowels and consonants represented here. Thankfully, yet another fellow xenolinguist by the name of Tuomo Sipola has already taken it upon themselves to analyze the phrase in a paper titled Spoken Vanduul in I Held the Line. I'll share the link for you in the description below. In the paper, Tuomo concludes that the most likely transcription for the phrase would look something like this. For the consonants, the most intriguing one for me personally is R, which is realized here as the voiced alveolar trill, for which, again, the closest thing my speech apparatus can produce is the uvular trill, ra, 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 from my native German language. For the Banu language, which also features the alveolar trill, I've so far opted to substitute the alveolar flap, ra, 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 but for Vanduul, I'm going to go with the voiced epiglottal trill instead. So my Vanduul R will sound somewhat like this. Ra, ra, ra. Moving on, we have F, which is the voiceless labial fricative, K, the voiceless velar plosive, and T, the voiceless alveolar plosive. Next up is L, the voiced alveolar lateral approximant, and finally G, the voiced velar plosive. But actually, for the purpose of my personal interpretation, we will use R as the initial sound for both the first and the last word of the phrase, since that is how my ear interprets them. As for the vowels, they all seem rather straightforward. A, the high front unrounded vowel, E, the low front unrounded vowel, U, the high back rounded vowel, in this case with a marker for a lower tone, and E, which would be the high mid front unrounded vowel. However, it appears to me that the sound transcribed here as E by Tuomo may well be just another E. I may be wrong there, but that's what we'll go with for the purpose of my personal interpretation, since that's how I hear it anyway. To sum up, my personal best guess for the transcription of the phrase, solely based on what I hear in the Squadron 42 teaser, would look like this in the interplanetary phonetic alphabet. As you can see, in addition to the modifications discussed earlier, I've also replaced the final R with an L sound. Again, I may be wrong, but that's how I hear it. If standard romanized Vanduul were a thing, I'd probably transcribe the phrase like this for the time being. Now, looking at the first and the last word here, which are the ones meaning rise and ascend respectively, these look utterly similar, don't they? This actually leads me to the speculation that tal may potentially be a suffix that adds a nuance of to do something continuously to any given word. That is, in this case, to keep rising, which equals to ascend. So there you have it. Rafik tul, rafik tal. I rise, I take, I ascend. In closing, I would like to point out again that all this is merely my personal attempt at a more or less educated approximation based off of Tuomo Sipola's existing transcription, combined with what I personally could hear from the video after listening to the recording repeatedly over the course of a couple of hours. Shout out to Tuomo for their extensive work in the field of xenolinguistics and for the attempt at listing the best Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Voyager episodes. Links in the description below. Shout out also to Jail, who got this whole conversation started, and whose channel I specifically recommend you check out if you're interested in the Xi'an language. And that's it already for today's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my take on the Vanduul phrase from the new Squadron 42 teaser. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts, questions, or with your own take on the Vanduul language. Until next time, rise, ascend, and shine, or as we say in the Banu Protectorate, Michai, get rich.